Can you elaborate on what some of our responsibilities are to the spirits of the natural world, and perhaps some of the ways in which these obligations or responsibilities get expressed through community at ritual or ceremony?
Well, first there has to be an explicit extroverted show of respect and a display of a significant amount of humility and foreignness in association with the place. Now, from within this kind of attitude, various ritual choreography can grow. Including a way of tending to the pre-existing sacredness that was there prior to the arrival of others, and in doing that, do so with the idea as to whether the earth, the spirit of the place, might have some suggestion on where to sign up or to sign in, where to register for maybe something as simple as a blessing that spirit of the place might have for us. Let's start there, as opposed to whatever conceived blessing the eye may have for the place. Understanding that the arrival in the place was not in response to a letter sent to the self to come over. You gotta understand that. So I think that from a more contemporary perspective, the responsibility of anyone, including those of you who are expressing or at least interested in exploring this field, we might have to begin with various ritual offering, gifting the spirit of the place with something that is an expression of the heart desire to find a new home, to contribute to a certain kind of restoration, noting that it is indeed part of any kind of culture that when you arrive somewhere, as a stranger, you bring a gift to show that, hey, where I come from, this is the fruit of that place, and I'm bringing this to share here. The issue is that when this is not done, and the resulting attitude is to begin exploiting, is that eventually the earth spirit, the spirit of the place, takes notice, and in the immediate there may not be any kind of reaction. At least it might not feel that way, but in the long term, a person who looked back might realize that certain things have been happening that are harmful to sustainability, and that could be traced down to an attitude that was disrespectful in the beginning. And that's why, as we speak about that in this time, we should realize that it is more or less the situation that is prevalent in the 21st century America. We got to understand that those who are descendants of the displaced, the recent comer, have a responsibility to right what was wrong, and to do so with great deployment of humility, to do so with a renewed sense of love and attention to the earth, lest they become the one who pays the price of the mistakes of their forebears. It is a calling that those who are awake may pick up at one time or another. But I know that that calling is one coming from the spirit of this place that still is willing to extend a welcoming hand to all of us, And I think that that's the minimum that can be done. The gifting of the spirit of place, of something purifying, renewing, transforming, knowing that in the end that kind of purification is ours to benefit from. And that's the whole point. And so it's a major undertaking. Yeah.
If I understand you, I hear that individuals who are drawn to reconnect and reestablish a relationship with the spirits of the natural world can expect to encounter the history of abuse and neglect that has preceded people today, and that in some regards, the work may be more difficult as a result.
Absolutely.
But that it's worth it to persist, and the spirit of listening and gifting and bringing our heart and feeling to the work is critical.
In doing so, you are the redemption of the future of this culture. In doing so, you are indeed enacting a rather positive representation, taking the blame for what other people did, simply on the basis that you are related to them. And you are not to be acting like they did. Instead, you show up in all your humility to present an unblemished apology, with the willingness to put in your entire self, not a divided self, a totally complete self, in this other life career, a priesthood, to mend the wound afflicted upon the spirit of place by the desecration of it. And this indeed is a very laudable task, but at the same time one that may span more than an individual lifetime, because of the enormity of it and because of its depth. And this is still the kind of thing that provides a viable dignity to the place, dignity to the person contributing to the harmonization or relationship between the self and the spirit of the place. I think there's probably no work better than that, than the giving of oneself, so that another place can move as close to its status of the origin as possible. I'm not ambitious enough to think that it could be restored back to where it was 600-700 years ago. But at least the simple gesture of a heart willing to take a risk in trying, that registers in the ledgers of the other world very, very vividly.
For any individuals who are attempting to respond to ecological damage and social injustice through activism and social change movements, how might their work become more effective or more enhanced through the study or awareness of ritual and drawing on a relationship with their ancestors?
Well, let's just put it this way. The forces of destruction that are intent upon showing an ongoing disrespect to the spirit of the earth and to so-called environments and so forth, are not going to necessarily change as a result of a confrontation with those people who object against such an attitude. They all kind of authoritarian rules that always come up with various logical ways as to why damage should be done to the earth. One of the simple things is, just talk about creating jobs, and everybody will forgive you for all the damage you might want to do. The point at stake is the following, that those who are intent upon offering themselves as the repair agent of these kind of damages are people who should first go to the earth to ask for guidance. There's such a thing as the beauty of showing up, even when you don't have any qualification for the monstrosity of the job in front of you. Just showing up with your bare hand make you qualifiable. That is the skill. That is the highest skill. And so people like that should not expect to finally graduate from a school complete with a certificate of ability to conduct the kind of healing ritual that will sweepingly take care of this whole problem. They should first recognize that showing up at the feet of Mother Earth with a humble attitude that shows recognition for a damage already done, and a damage so big that they don't even know where to start to repair. This attitude alone is a sacred one. It's a ritual attitude. And so they have to understand that that gesture alone will trigger intuitive choreographies and initiatives, spontaneous engagement with the earth in such a way that they will end up looking back with the knowledge that in fact they've been doing something, something constructive, something positive, injecting the kind of energy that deletes negativity without prior training necessarily. And so this is why the willingness to show up, knowing that you don't know, and knowing that the Spirit knows that you don't know, is a really laudable gesture, I might say. And it leads to all these doorways and gateways of consciousness that suggest that other forces from wherever place they are being hired to come and assist you in taking the proper initiative, in doing the right thing. You know. And so I can't just say, those who are doing that, these are the ritual they should learn. This is what they should know. This is preposterous. I cannot claim to be the one that knows what kind of ritual you should do in order to repair the relationship with the earth that has been damaged by others. Because in doing so, I will be claiming better knowledge of this place than you. That's grandiose. What if the very fact that you were born here makes you unconsciously more related to the frequencies of this place? And that all it takes is for you to listen to those frequencies, and you will hear the voice of the place telling you what you should be doing. What if? And so it's an important thing to let people grow by themselves, encourage them to grow, to enhance their consciousness towards the environment they're in, noticing therefore that they're not any different from the trees, they're not any different from the plant that is standing there, and in so doing allow them to give a little boost to their own consciousness, to become more observing, more discerning, more noticing of what is going on.